Hi everybody, welcome to this video tutorial. This is a walkthrough of paper 2 topics in sociology, in particular topic 2, which was family and households. As always, thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe or comment if you've got any questions. I thought I'd start this video tutorial with the examiner report. It is freely available from AQA. You can get it in the link that I've put down below. So just to start off with this first bit, which is the general bit. So one comment that was made was that most students will answer the questions in the order that they appear on the question paper. So that means that the last 20 mark essay question in section B, they answered that last, and that meant that that was often brief and seemingly unfinished, which should suggest that time was a problem for some students, and that is something that I want you to take on board. Remember that you should be spending 15 minutes on a 10 marker, 30 minutes on a 20 marker, and stick to your timings, so then you are dedicating enough time to those latter questions for on the end of the paper. Moving on to the 10 mark question, and this is just in general, some students are writing an introduction and a conclusion to these 10 mark questions. It is not necessary, it will waste time. What the examiner will be looking for is 2 chunky paragraphs that clearly answers the question set. Some students make up only 1 point in their answers, or 3 or more, rather than the 2 asked for in the question. Just make sure you are reading the question carefully and you are answering what the question is set. It is helpful for students to clearly indicate the 2 answers with wording such as "one way is," or start a new paragraph for the second point on a new line. Miss a line between each one. It sounds really obvious, but obviously some students aren't doing this, and it just really makes your answers very clear that you are asking or answering what the question is set. A really popular question about 10 mark outline and explain is, should I evaluate? And there is still this misconception that you can get marks for evaluation. The marks for the assessment objectives are a analysis, not evaluation, on a 10 mark outline and explain. And you should be aware that the evaluation and analysis, or the AO3, which is required on a 10 mark outline and explain, is different from a 10 mark with an item. The one with the outline and explain, you get awarded for analysis. If there is an item, you can analyse and evaluate, and you really should be aware of this. And lastly, the best answers to a 10 mark question are focused, clearly stating the point, developing it, using sociological concepts, evidence and theory where appropriate. In some questions, students tend to focus on the first aspect of the question at the expense of the second. Remember, on a 10 mark outline and explain, you have got to show application between part A and part B. So unless you do that, you are not going to be scoring highly. So for example, in question 5, some answers gave detailed responses to demographic changes, but didn't say how they affected the nature of childhood. Students need guidance on how to approach these questions and how to best demonstrate their sociological understanding. I would suggest that you label them part A and part B. You show knowledge of part A, you show knowledge of part B, and you show how they link together with a sentence that says this is how part A impacts part B, and you explain it. The nature of these questions is that you are not reciting knowledge. It might be asking you to make a connection between 2 parts of the specification that you might not have done before. Okay, you're not going to feel confident on this, but it is challenging you to show that you understand and you can apply from one part to another. And, you know, trust your gut, trust your judgment, because you will do better than you think on this one. In answer to the 20 mark questions in general, many scripts from last paper 2018, the first section had a better answer than the second section, which might suggest a problem with timing. You should be timing yourselves. You should be spending 15 minutes on a 10 marker, 30 minutes on a 20 marker, and time yourself, especially in the run up to the next exam paper. A couple of things here as well. It's often the case that a wide range of material can be relevant, and you need to carefully choose the content by planning your answers. This is suggesting that the examiner is expecting a brief plan, so at least then you can choose the best material to answer the question set. There was a tendency for answers to progressively lose sight of the question and become a list of different views. It is here that you are linking back to the question. Best answers will address all aspects of the question and draw on theories, concepts and empirical evidence or examples. Evaluation which meets the demands of the questions is better than points of criticisms that have been learned and included, regardless of the question. So think about what the debate is, what is being asked, and be able to make a judgment or an evaluation based on that. And lastly, students should also be aware that evaluation includes awareness of the strengths as well as the weaknesses of an argument, theory or piece of evidence. Let's have a look at section A, topic 2, family and households. As you can see, there will be 3 questions, a 10 mark outline and explain, a 10 mark with an item, and a 20 mark with an item also, questions 4, 5 and 6. The first question is asking you to outline and explain 2 ways in which government policies may affect family structure. You have got 2 clear areas of the specification that you need to show knowledge of and show how one, which is government policies, may affect the other, which is family structure. So let's have a look at the examiner commentary just to get a bit of an idea about what was expected for this question. So here there was a tendency to go into detail about the chosen policy rather than to discuss the effect on family structure. Some answers assumed an effect and did not take the opportunity to use their sociological understanding to explore the ideas in depth. The best answers, or some answers, said that changes to divorce, often described in detail, increased the number of lone parents, but few discussed increases in reconstituted families or binuclear families. Similarly, the Marriage or Same-Sex Couple Act of 2013 was recognised as increasing numbers of same-sex married couples, but also led to same-sex divorces, changes in adoption, surrogacy and so on. Question 5 is where you have got a 10 marker where you have got to find 2 hooks from the item to apply your knowledge. And in this question you are asked to look for the demographic trends since 1900, massive time frame there, have affected the nature of childhood in the United Kingdom today. So in this question you've got a lot of things going on because you've got to select the demographic trends from the item, but then also say what impact has that had on the nature of childhood in the United Kingdom in today's society? Checking out the examiner commentary, many answers went into reasons for the demographic changes referred to in the item rather than the effect on childhood. Others discussed childhood 100 years ago or earlier, which is not really what the question was asking. However, many did develop points about child-centeredness by looking at its positive consequences for childhood and developing this to link it to overprotectiveness, age patriarchy, pest to power, toxic childhood and so on. Also, the presence of grandparents was also in the better answers, not merely described but analysed how it could be both positive and negative, contributing to socialisation and childcare and also adding to the burden of care for the family, with some children becoming young carers. The better answers were distinguished by, as the mark scheme says, developed applications going beyond the immediately apparent. Finally, question 6 is your 20 mark extended essay. Again, you are applying material from the item. In this case, you are evaluating the view that individual choice in personal relationships has made family life less important in the United Kingdom today. There's a bit of an indication there about postmodernist, sort of indicating that it could be about family diversity and interactionist views as well about the nature of family life. So let's check out the examiner report to see what students did. So many answers discussed changes in family life such as divorce, cohabitation, same-sex and gender roles in terms of greater choice, but few explored whether these developments made family life more important or less important. More developed analysis showed how diversity did not always lead to less importance and importance of a changed form of family life. Functionalism and new right were often included, but sometimes with Marxism, described rather than being applied to the question. There was a shortage of postmodernist views in addition to choice and diversity. Better answers refer to pure relationships, confluent love, negotiated families and alternative life courses. So people like Giddens, Beck, Stacey would be expected in this answer. I think Morgan would appear in here as well. So in all, this has just been a brief walkthrough on paper 2 and also just the family section in this case. I've referred to the examiner report because I think it gives us a real insight to what you should be writing on these questions. And if you have liked what you have seen, please click like. Massive thank you as always for watching. If you're not quite sure whether you like this video or not, rather than clicking dislike, please tell me why, and then I can improve it in further videos. As always, the examiner report and the links are in the comments below. Massive thank you for watching, and I shall speak to you again soon. Bye bye.